Hi, friend. Okay, so I have a confession. I had this episode queued up for December, but then realized, oh yeah, maybe I need to talk about Christmas. But leave it to God to put this on hold until after our crazy health scare with my daughter. If you aren't sure what I'm talking about, go back and listen to episode 34 where I tell you all about it. God knew this encouragement would be even more important after that experience. So I want to ask you, do you ever feel like you need alone time or maybe even find a sitter just to get things done around the house? Maybe you don't feel this way because your kids are older. But if you're like me and in the season of motherhood with littles, I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. And maybe needing a sitter is a bit of a stretch, but I've been feeling that way lately as the harvest season was wrapping up in the Midwest, which means my husband works long hours every day and it's hard to ever have any time to do anything other than catering to my kids' needs. Now, I'm not complaining, or maybe I am a little, if I'm being honest. It seems like they are in constant need of attention or endless snacks, or they are fighting with their siblings. Now, please don't take this as I don't love my kids or that I don't love being around them. I just want to make this a safe space for saying how we're feeling so you know that you're not alone. And also, I don't want you to feel like there is something wrong with you for feeling this way about your kids. I love my kids. I love being a mom, but it's hands down the hardest job I've ever had. Being a mom tests you in ways you've never known that you could be tested. Am I right? On top of that, everyone is always telling us, it goes so fast. Make sure to enjoy it because you'll miss this someday. In this episode, I want to talk about all the pressures that have been put on us as moms. The world expects us to look a certain way as moms, and it makes it extremely difficult to live up to those expectations because it seems like they are changing every single day. So, join me as I get vulnerable with my internal thoughts on motherhood and how we need to change our mindset on motherhood moving forward. It shouldn't be about wanting or needing a break from our kids, but the truth is we do feel that way. So let's figure out how to correct that moving forward.
Do you want a more peaceful life? Does everything feel so chaotic but you aren't sure why? Are you constantly asking yourself, when do I get a break? Do you wake up thinking, here we go again, same stuff, different day, because you're tired of doing all the things all the time? Hi, I'm your host, Stephanie J. Clark. I too was overwhelmed with all the things and just wanted some peace. I just wanted a break from the life I was living. I wanted more out of life and off of the same stuff, different day merry-go-round. But I kept telling myself I needed to suck it up because I really didn't have it all that bad. Until I unexpectedly found peace in the quiet moments of rest where the Lord showed me I needed to pick up my Bible and learn who I was truly created to be so I could see the reason for my chaos. In this podcast, you will find encouragement on how to go all in with Jesus, how to strengthen your marriage and find confidence like you've never had before so that you surrender control and be led by the Spirit. So dust off that Bible, grab your coffee and a blanket, and get ready to find the culprit to your chaos and start getting your peace back by rediscovering normal.
I've honestly lost track of how many times I've heard, it goes so fast, make sure you enjoy it because you'll miss this someday. This may not be popular opinion, but I hate it when people say this to moms, especially new moms. To me, it's like saying, I know you're miserable, but tough luck. This is just the way it is. But don't worry, it will go fast and you'll miss when they were babies. But you're just going to be miserable until you miss it. I really wish we'd stop saying this to moms. I heard this so many times when I was a new mom. When my first son was born, I was miserable. He never slept. He would spit up every time after he ate. And when I say spit up, I mean projectile everywhere. I was changing his clothes constantly. I couldn't ever lay him down because he would just cry and cry and cry. I could not wait for his dad to get home every day. And then I would feel guilty because I was feeling like I didn't want to be around my baby. Although I'm not really sure I've ever told anyone that. On top of that, why is it that everyone feels the need to ask, how do they sleep? And when they don't sleep, you get the, well, enjoy it because it goes so fast. I'm sorry, but this is the last thing I want to hear when I'm sleep deprived and feeling like an empty shell of a person because I haven't slept in months. This is just one example of the expectations that the world puts on moms. We're expected to enjoy it all because it goes so fast. Well, what if we're not enjoying it? Where's the support then? I cannot remember where I heard it, but it changed my life and how I looked at motherhood. They said, it goes so fast, so it's okay if you aren't enjoying this part. Finally, someone who gets it. For so long, I didn't feel like I could say, I don't enjoy this. I felt like I couldn't say it because I wanted this family. I prayed for this family. I heard this after I was out of the newborn stage with my second child, and I so wish someone would have told me that when I was in the hardest parts with my first. But as I've been thinking about the need for a break, this got me thinking about all the expectations that are put on moms. The unrealistic expectation that we are supposed to enjoy it all because it goes so fast is a huge reason why I think moms feel so burnt out all the time. Not to mention, we're supposed to work to contribute to the income, but we're made to feel guilty if we take our kids to daycare and allow someone else to raise them. And then there is the expectation of making sure your kids are never bored and always playing with them. Again, I love my kids, but I don't always enjoy playing on the floor with them all hours of the day. I mean, it hurts my back. Not to mention, who is going to do the dishes or the laundry or all of the other endless to-do list items? On top of that, we still have to take care of our husbands, right? Or maybe we've totally forgotten about them because the world tells us that we have to be this unrealistic mom and it's making us all miserable. And if we have to do one more thing for someone, or if one more person touches me, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. Please tell me you can relate. All of that to say, I've come to the conclusion that what the world makes us think is normal is causing us so much heartache. We think we have to live up to this expectation or we're going to be labeled as a bad mom. We have so many things we have to get done every day that we are constantly juggling the mental load of the household. So if we aren't spending all of our time sitting on the floor playing, we're doing all the other things, cooking meals, cleaning, washing dishes, doing laundry. It all has to get done, right? And then when we're focusing on all of those things, how many times have you said, just a minute, or I'll help you in a second, to our kids? I mean, I hate to say this, but it almost feels like our children are inconvenient at times. Not necessarily that our kids being the inconvenience, but motherhood in general and all the things that come with it. When we're trying to get things done, we're always interrupted. So it feels like we need the kids to not be around in order to get things done. But what if, instead of feeling like it's an inconvenience when we need to get things done, we use it as an opportunity to be a little bit more like Jesus? It's not ideal to be interrupted when we're trying to get things done, but maybe all the things we're trying to get done aren't really that important. Have you heard of the ball juggling analogy? As moms and wives, we have all sorts of balls we have to juggle. Some of them are glass balls and some are rubber balls. If a rubber ball is dropped, it's not the end of the world. It will simply bounce back up and you can start juggling it again when you're ready. This makes me think of the dishes or the laundry. Of course, it still needs to get done, but maybe we don't have to get it all done all the time. Then we have the glass balls, and if those are dropped, they'll break. So, our relationship with our kiddos, or our husbands, or even ourselves, if we drop one of those balls, it's going to break. What if we just slow down and stop doing all the things the world tells us to do? What if we start embracing the interruptions as a chance to slow down? What if, maybe, those interruptions are from God as a way to show us, hey, you're about to break, or hey, you're about to drop a glass ball, pay attention. We have gotten to a point where we think we need to be busy all the time because the world tells us we need to be. I'm all for telling the world to buzz off and embrace the rest and live the way God intended us to live. Jesus was interrupted all the time, but he always stopped to help or heal people. Think about it. Most of the miracles happened while he was teaching and someone asked for healing, or he was on his way to someplace else and he always stopped to help or heal. He was interrupted all the time, but he always stopped. He even stopped when the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years simply touched his clothing as he was walking by and was healed instantly. He stopped and asked, "Who touched me?" because he felt the power go out from him. And he told the woman, "Your faith has healed you. Go in peace." You can read the full story in Luke chapter 8, verses 43 through 48. I'm not saying we need to always drop everything for our kids when they ask us something. I mean, hello, age of asking nonstop why questions. I'm just saying, what would our lives look like if we weren't always saying to our kids, "Just a minute, I'll help you in a minute"? And if I'm honest, how many of you are like me and say "just a minute" simply because you don't want to do what they're asking, and you know that if you don't do it right then, when they ask, they're going to forget? I'm not proud to admit that, but I'm definitely guilty of it. What if we start looking at the interruptions as a nudge from God, that we need to take that interruption as a reminder that maybe we're about to drop that glass ball, or maybe a miracle is about to happen? I know using the word miracle seems like a stretch, but maybe not. What if that interruption gives you the opportunity to see something your child is doing for the first time, or do something with your child that makes you laugh and gives you that reminder of how much you love those little stinkers and give you the overwhelming feeling of peace that you needed to get through your day? The enemy wants to keep us thinking like we'll never measure up and we're always going to be a bad mom. But Jesus wants to give us peace. And just like the woman who had the faith that she'd be healed simply by touching his clothing, if we have faith that Jesus will give us the peace we need to find joy in motherhood again, he'll absolutely do it. So even though you may not be enjoying this season that you're in right now, don't let the world make you think that you have to enjoy it, because it goes by so fast. Jesus never promised us an easy life. He simply promised us a life of peace if we do life with him. We have to stop looking to the world for answers in order to gain happiness. We have to change our mindset on these things and start looking to the Bible for answers. And maybe it's as simple as changing our mindset about wanting happiness. Maybe happiness isn't the goal, but peace with Jesus is the goal. So I encourage you, the next time that you're feeling like you need a break from your kiddos, remember, try to embrace the interruptions, because those may just be the moments that bring you the most peace. I pray this episode blesses you. I want you to know that I'm here to support you. Make sure you join the Rediscovering Normal community at rediscoveringnormalcommunity.com, where we work on changing our mindset so that we can find balance in our crazy life. And we do it all with Jesus at the center of it all. The world is getting crazier and crazier, which is why it gets more and more important to get anchored in Jesus and have faith that he will give you the peace you so desperately need. Okay, friend, until next episode, keep rediscovering normal every day with Jesus. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Rediscovering Normal podcast. Could you do me a huge favor? If this episode blessed you, can you give it a 5-star rating or leave a review wherever you're listening? And if you felt the Holy Spirit moving in you during this episode, could you please share it with someone who may need the message as well? This is the #1 way that others find out about the podcast. And if you want to keep in touch, go ahead and join the Overwhelmed Mamas community on Facebook, where we trade chaos for peace. Okay, friend, until the next episode, keep rediscovering normal every day with Jesus.